and happy Tuesday. Here we are over the halfway mark of July, and for me, this is actually the 100th episode of From Boxes to Butterflies. So, welcome for everybody who comes in, joins. Um, it's gonna be a fun conversation. There's a lot to talk about, and to start with, I want to just say check in on those around you. I always start with this because it is important. There's so many people out there that they've gone through something. You know, people who have gone through something or are in the middle of something, and they may look like they're fine. They may seem like they're doing okay. But the reality is they're wearing a mask. And it's up to us to basically check out, connect with them and say, how's it going? And to get an answer that's more than just fine. Fine is feelings inward, not expressed. So don't just accept fine. That's grocery checkout conversation ender. When you say fine, see how they're doing, check on them, and keep checking on them, because sometimes that check-in makes the difference in how somebody's day is going to go. When I talk about my sponsors, I start with my dear sis, Dr. Constance Leyland at Level Up Academy. Uh, I could talk about her for days. It's so easy. Netflix of education, that's what she does. She's a publicity queen. She has access to press release opportunities, to premium magazines. All of this is stuff that you need to reach out to her, touch base with her, and see how she can help you. Look at this too: podcast, TV show, radio, live stream. She's had all of these. Uh, check her out, and then know that she is one of the best people to talk to when it comes to getting your message out there, because if it's not ready, she will tell you up front it's not ready and what you need to do. A lot of people, they just take your message and run with it. No, she makes sure that you're ready before she puts it out there. Then I have the Hounds of Business with Mike Ashebrainer. Every time I talk about the Hounds, it's collaboration over competition. And if you think about it, this oftentimes you might look at somebody and like, they're doing the same thing I am. Why would I want to talk with them? Why would I want to collaborate with them? The reality is they may be doing the same thing, but they're not doing the same thing, because each of us is different, or it's a different aspect of what you're doing. And when you can find somebody that you can collaborate with, that you can work together and create opportunities together, there's a lot of advantages to this, including being able to drop the anxiety of having to do things all by yourself. You're sharing the load, you're sharing audiences, you are working together, you're learning from each other. I've seen a number of people get together in the Hounds. You would think they're doing the same thing, yet they get together, they do projects, they do retreats, and it's a perfect combination. So keep that in mind and check out the Hounds and contact Mike Ashebrainer. Then I have my dear sis, Danielle Manalis with C&M Consulting. And this is a leading management and advisory consulting firm that specializes in HR. They center around empathy-driven and heart-led solutions, which is my sister. She is very much empathy-driven. And they understand the importance of fostering a culture of trust, a culture of excellence, and meeting regulations and requirements. So if you've got questions when it comes to HR, reach out to her. and have that conversation. We want to lift up our niece. CJ and I love to talk about Elise because she's been going through something that has just been really difficult. Um, she graduated from preschool, getting ready to go to elementary, kindergarten, and suddenly she gets she gets diagnosed with Kawasaki disease, and it just throws the whole family's life in a loop. Remember when I said check in on people? Well, this is a part of that because medical emergencies happen, and especially with like medical emergencies, those end up having costs that you never expected. They weren't in the budget. Um, so we love to lift this little girl up. She's just a little dynamo, and she's getting through this, but it's not a quick thing. It's not like you can have a quick fix and within a month you're back up fine running around. Um, there's still tests, there's still checks, there's still making sure that she's okay. So that's why we put this together. CJ set this up, and we've been promoting it because when it comes to medical costs, insurance just never covers it all, and it doesn't cover a lot of the things that you don't expect to show up anyway. So I wanted to make sure that's out there. Um, Scan the QR code. You can get more information from us, from Danielle. And yeah, so welcome to episode 100. And I'm excited. Let's see who is here. Um, Sharon Rose Winfield. Thank you so much. It's lovely to see everybody that's here. Um, yeah, exactly. It's Agape gave me that, and I just keep running with it because it's so perfect to say that. And there's my dear sis Danielle. Ben's here. He's one of our authors. So it's been a blast, and I'm gonna bring up my dear sis as we get going in here because I got a couple other things that I want us to talk about in terms of the sponsor-ish type stuff. And this is one that you talk best about, even though I love promoting it. And that's Bella Grace.
Bella Grace. Yes. So I love Bella Grace because I have an appointment to talk to one of the researcher. He researched. He's not the one that actually created this elixir, but he is the researcher that helps kind of Bella Grace right now to make sure that the ingredients, the study is still going to be out there. And he also created the gummies, I think, for Bella Grace. And his customers are rock stars because they need, health stuff. And so he's going to be on my podcast on the 20th of August. So it's going to be something really cool that you guys need to attend. But Bella Grace really has offered a lot of wellness um, products. And one of them that I really gravitate towards is this because we age, we lose a lot of things that we need in our body. And the elixir actually provides the foundational, like the collagen, the elasticity of your face, the hair growth when you're menopausing, right? Lisa and I were talking about it, balding spots, all of that, like you can't see very well, all of these things that you're depleting your body in as your body transitions to a different stage of life. This actually pours in back to you, right? And
Mhm.
they have created it where they actually have human clinical trials, and it's really hard to actually do human clinical trials. And I think you have 70 or 80 people that they did, and they're all basically saying that they have seen improvement. April created a video basically that she felt her joint did something, and I did too. Because when I go up and down the stairs, my joint sometimes hurts, and this literally helped it. Within 5 days, I felt it. Within 2 months, you'll feel more invigorated. So thank you for doing that, sister. Hello, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other one I like to put up, because this is we've got it behind us, but the 50 inspirational is still there, and people we want to get our people signing up, getting it out there, getting the word so they know it's there. And you've been
Yes.
doing this for 3 years now.
Yeah, it's been 3 years. This year is a little off. Everything is off this year. It's just crazy. But, we're just gonna keep going, and usually, I start June usually and July, and so people are like, "Oh, is it over? Because it's already, like, the end of July." I said, "No, no, no. We started late this year. We might even go all the way till the end of August, because everything is just slow-mo on my end." But that doesn't mean that we're pausing it. It just means that we're continuing it in a slower, much calmer pace. That's all. And we're gonna go keep going until December instead of it end in October or September. So that's all. It's just changed a little bit on my end, and people are gonna have to be flexible. That's just part of life, right? But if you are in business, or if you have someone that really inspired you, that's what I'm trying to do, is to inspire people to do well for others. That's all.
And yeah, I've loved this. I got to be a part of it. I've been in different parts of it the last 3 years. So I had the push to do the video the first year, um, and then the ambassador the last 2 years. So it's been fun to see all the different people who come in and are a part of it. So again, scan the QR code and uh, don't miss your opportunity, because I like to even point out that even if maybe you don't become one of the 50, you get noticed. That's the one thing that from these past years, even if you don't have, even if somebody doesn't get in, they still get noticed because you see them, you see everything, and it can open up doors for people just to apply. And that's what I love about this. And that's one of the things I love working with you, is you see different things with different people. But today, let's see, today, this whole topic, well, of course, somebody helped me come up with the topic name. And as we have been doing, we've it kind of fits within everything we've been talking about. And quite frankly, I feel like it fits everything we're going through at the moment, because too often we're trying to be perfect. We're trying to get everything perfect before we step out the door, before we push the send button, before we do whatever it is, reach out to somebody. It's like we have to be perfect. And that, especially if we're in one of these seasons that is really difficult, then being perfect means nothing happens. It means you're just spinning your wheels, because you're just trying to make it better and better. And being present is really what we need to do. Perfect is the past. Forget and leave the past alone, because if you're like me, you don't want the past to become your future. So just stay in the present, be present, stay in the present, and do what don't try to be too perfect with everything. Just make things happen. What do you think?
You know me and framework.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. We got it.
I know.
Framework or acronym? That's what I want to know first.
Yeah, right. Well, okay, acronym for the present. I have an acronym for that present, but I
Okay.
love what sister said, progress over perfection. Um, yeah, I mean, even our anthology has been pushed out a lot further. This like yours literally bleed through July, and so I just started mine right now, and it's probably gonna bleed through September, October, right? Like we're just gonna go with the flow. We're not gonna worry about being perfect on schedule. I have a that present, the word present, present. Um, I like structure, so I always like to do acronyms and framework. But P is performance versus, I'm sorry, performative versus personal. So defining the trap, people pleasing, perfectionism, overachieving, and everybody knows definitely in my circle, I am definitely an overachiever. But in contrast with it, what it means is to just show up authentically. Doesn't have to be perfect. My hair is not perfect, my whatever, it doesn't really matter, right? Um I was applauded for being everything to everyone, but I didn't even know what I needed, right? That's an example of like performative. But being personal is just you, being you. And I think it's really hard for us sometimes to be us when there's a lot of people writing on you, or there's expectations, or you think there is an expectations, your perceived notion, right? So you are struggling throughout the day, performative versus personal. Personal is you. And then you also struggle with the um if I think about myself a lot, then I become a narcissist because that's what everyone says narcissism is. So we have to redefine everything of those words with the negative connotation. Everything that we have been taught in the past, in our system, in our culture, in our society, you have to really not be automatic anymore. You have to really think and reframe literally everything that you have been taught, literally uneffing your brain. That's what you need to do every day if you want to do better. And then R is rest and not rush. Um, it's a toss up between hustle and honor, right? Talk about reclaiming rest as a power move, not laziness. Rest is resistance in a world that monetize burnout. That's what we do. We monetize burnout, right? Building new rhythms, slowing down a little bit, pausing, it's okay. And Susanna and I are actually going through this right now. Hustle versus honor. Are we honoring ourselves, or are we just hustling for the sake of hustling, going in circles like a rabbit hole, right? And E is for enoughness now. Hit the heart. You're not a project, guys, to be perfect. You're a person to present, to be present with. You're not a project. Reframe your worthiness. Worth isn't earned, it's owned, right? What would I do differently today if I believe I was already enough? If I'm already enough, then now what, right? Being enough is okay. We say the word, but we don't do the action. Now, S is for silence the noise because way too many noise in social media. Comparison, external validation. Get honest with yourself. Are you doing certain things for you or for somebody else? Right? Discuss boundary, especially with scrolling. I doom scroll when I go to bed sometimes too. So I just put it on music and have sound healing in the background. Because there are toxic people out there. And remember, we are reflective, we're a mirror, right? So whatever you hear and listen is in your back of your head, right? It's that little subconscious. E is for embodied awareness. Talk about turning into your body, your emotions, your intuition, not just your to-do list, because I'm good with to-do list, right? But what is my body trying to tell me that my schedule keeps ignoring? Late nights, sleepiness, yawning, right? Literally, you're burning out. I know I'm burning out. but it's not because of I don't want to make excuse because it is a choice at the end of the day. We can make excuses like, oh, because I have to do this, or oh, I have to do this. Look in your day what you're actually doing that's not productive, and plug in the productiveness that you need to do in that day so you don't burn out. N is now matters most. Anchor in the power of being present, the breath, the moment, the being here with the 100th episode. Oh my gosh, right? You cannot heal the future or relive the past. You can only meet yourself right now. We like to wallow on our issues in the past. We get hurt because we think of the memory that we did in the past that could have been changed. We live in regret because what we're doing today hurts, but at the end of the day you can only meet yourself today, right? Future is still unwritten, but the future will be miserable also if you're miserable today, because today becomes your past tomorrow, right? And T, which is the last word, is true belonging. And this is where my sister lives. Bring it in full circle. When we drop the mask of perfection, real connection happens, right? Belonging doesn't require us to change, guys. It doesn't require us to change of who we are, but to be who we are is important. What do you think, sister?
Absolutely. We have to be. We talk about it. There's a few things. One, we connected in the first place because you were on somebody's live, and they were basically trying to get you to talk about something you regretted in the past, and you said no, you're not going to regret, and that's when I dropped the message in the chat for that. It's like, yeah, this is the butterfly effect as written by Ray Bradbury in A Sound of Thunder, and I always have to put it that way because um, there's other versions of butterfly effect, but this is my version that I stick with, and that's to change anything in the past, even if it's to go pick up a penny that you walked past in the past, can be enough to change the future so that who you are now is totally different, and maybe somebody that you don't even like. So why and think about all the people that you miss out on. Don't give me the but what if. What ifs don't matter. They don't mean anything. You know what you have right now. Why would you want to change that? And then belonging, that's that's been another piece of everything that we've talked about, and that's been part of the connection too, is that belonging, because we can we can basically tell each other and Danielle anything. If we're not doing good, we can say it, and there's not judgment. We can drop the mask, and we're not going to be judged by the others for what's going on. We can get loving correction or loving guidance, um, and the thing about that is, and we've had these conversations too, where sometimes one of us might kind of go, the is it okay that I said this? It's like, or you guys will do that to me, and I just come back with, I feel you whenever you make these kind of comments. So you may think something was harsh, but I feel the energy that's with it, and I feel the love that's with it. So I never feel the harshness that somebody thought was there. If somebody gives me a harsh comment, I can feel it, and I'm not going to stick with it anymore. I moved beyond that. And with my sisters, it is belonging. It is that true belonging. We can say anything. We don't have to agree on everything, and the connection is still as strong. It just gets stronger, really.
Yeah, I'm on a journey for myself on sometimes people just want to be listened to and not give my opinion, and I have to be aware of that because I tend to go on teacher mode, and it's like automatic. That's my robotic nature, and I have to go against my robotic nature to be present, right? To be present is read the room. If the room is sad or glad or happy or angry, don't add to it. Let them vent on what they need to vent. Don't give your opinion, don't give your examples. And I think that's really hard, at least for me, because culture wise, and how I grew up and how I'm brought up and how this society in America really tells you is to connect with people is to add something to the conversation. That's literally most of everybody I've met. 99.9% people, if you tell them about your problem, they compare their problem. They'll add their problem to your problem. And what I've realized is that you don't need to add your problem to connect. You just need to listen. Don't give your opinion, right? And even if you have the urge to say, yeah, this person is this, don't. Because sometimes people are just venting and they might still care about that other person. And you're actually adding the hurt. So I have to be aware of that. And I'm working on it. Just to let you know, like I'm working on that. Um,
We all
because
do.
now that I'm in that, like self-awareness, I was like, okay, CG, you need to not be in teacher mode, not give advice, no wisdom needed, just be there and listen. That's it. Because sometimes people just want to be hugged, they just want to be connected, that there's somebody there listening, and that's literally it. They don't need your opinion, your thoughts, your wisdom. They don't need any of that. They just want you to be there for them. And
Mhm.
so I am trying to be aware of that moment where I don't need to be. Now, if I'm in business mode, then yes, but in a personal conversation with your friends, with your business partner, if there's telling you about their problem or issue, don't add your wisdom. Don't add your thoughts or opinions unless they physically said, "Hey, what do you think?" Right? And that's, you hear me say that all the time. Here's my thoughts and feelings, sister. What do you think? That means I'm inviting your opinion, your wisdom, your thoughts. But if you don't hear those cue of what do you think, that's your cue to say STFU. STFU. Just listen, right? Um, because perfection is not, we say this all the time. I don't want to be perfect, blah blah blah. But think about like your Instagram moments versus your reality, right? Like my reality right now, guys, my entire place right now is in chaos because I'm moving, right? So the reality is it looks perfect because I have a background, but when you see this, my ADHD is kicking in everywhere right now, right?
Uh-huh. I'm the same way. It's like I'm doing the same stuff. In fact, that's one of the craziest things. We go through the same. You and I go through the same thing, either one after the other, or somehow in conjunction, and
It's nuts.
it's nuts. But at the same time, too, it actually um, it's beneficial because we've already got that connection, so it makes it easier to have these conversations,
Yeah.
and we both have ideas of what's going on. So it's that kind of knowing when to add something and when to take a and when to just sit back.
Yeah. I wanted to also shout out to the parents if you're a parent out there. Present over perfect is a good topic as a mom, right? I don't know how to be a dad because I'm not a dad, but I am a mom. And sometimes I remember when my kids were little, every time they visit to their grandparents, they're perfect. Their hair's combed, the bows. Like I'm that type of mom. Like I'm all out with my kids, to be there, and they're their attitude has to be perfect. Like I have a look that I give my kids, and they're like, "Mom's mad," right? They know. And I don't have to say anything. And if I say something, that means you literally leveled up my anger at that point, right? And so being a parent, like when your kids are screaming or having a tantrum, and you want them to be quiet, right? You're trying to control the situation. Instead of doing that, just give them a hug. Try it. Just give them a hug. Because sometimes kids lash out because they don't know how to process their emotions, right?
Right.
And this is the same thing with adults. Not every moment is zen, guys. Okay. Being present means you notice your anger, you notice your anxiety, your joy, your boredom, right? Your panic attacks. And you don't numb yourself to scroll away, because I tend to do that. I tend to numb myself on like doom scrolling on TikTok or Instagram. But literally when that happens now for me, either I call Susanna, I'm like, I'm having panic attack or anxiety or something. I'm not sure what's going on. I think it's my meds or whatever. Or I literally sit in my car, shut the door, and like turn on the AC, not listen to music, and just listen to my breathing until I calm down, right? Because sometimes sitting in the car and just breathing with no music and just calm down, it's like that little cave and your thoughts are echoing. The problem with that, if you have ADHD, is you have 15 million thoughts at the same time. So canceling your brain noise is really hard. And so how I do it is I disrupt my brain by like, take a deep breath, empty your mind. Like literally, I'm telling myself to empty my mind so that I don't have to think about those issues. But as a mom, it's okay to get frustrated with your kids. It's okay not to be perfect. However, I do require you when you're in public, please don't let your kids scream in restaurants. Like, oh my God, I can't handle it. Like, take them out, okay? Because there's other people there too. They don't need to listen to your kids screaming all day. Just give your kids a hug. Because if you notice, if you're a mom, you scold your kids, they get louder. They get louder. Um, yeah, yeah. Well, so it's just, you don't really do that, but it's really easy to give advice, but it's really hard to take in. So I've been trying to take in my own advice so that I can say, hey guys, I literally lived my own advice right now. And so just rest your brain, laugh at yourself. If you make mistakes, cry about it, and then just move on. You don't want wrinkles, do you? Like that's adding wrinkles to yourself. Like, no, I don't want that. Forget it. Um, oh my god. But choosing to pause before reacting also makes a huge difference because like I don't know why people record their crying and they're laughing or all like that in social media because we curate what we want people to think of us in social media. We curate, right?
Right.
Everybody does. And now even the people are like, I'm being authentic. I'm crying right now because of this. You're not being authentic. You don't need to record your moments of despair and crying. Like you literally you don't. Unless you're asking for help and you just don't have anybody to help you, I get that. But like just a moment of despair and you're crying, like, okay, well, that's curating, right? But I'm glad that you feel comfortable doing that publicly as well. I'm not gonna say that that's bad. It's your life. No one should tell you what your life is. But sister, when you get overwhelmed, what do you do to stay in the moment, to stay present?
Um, with that overwhelm, there are times that the first thing I do is say a quick prayer because I can't do it alone. And um, if we were closer, it might be like hop in the car and go see CJ or go see Danielle, but it's not that way. So it's sometimes for me, it's that prayer that makes that initial difference. Um, because I can feel, I even did it this morning. I'm not sure exactly what was going on, but I ended up sitting in my chair that um, I've set up the bedroom so that I have a chair in the corner. It's the only flat surface in the whole house that doesn't have anything on it. And so it's like that's the way I put it is that's the seat for God to sit if he wants, or Jesus, or whatever. It's like that's the seat. Um, Keep it clean. And that way too, I can sit there and just feel a little bit closer. But what I noticed this morning is doing that and doing prayer, my shoulders dropped. I don't think I realized how tight my shoulders were. I don't think I realized how wound up I probably was, and didn't really understand it, know it. But once I sat down and just had that focus, um, breathing quietly, I didn't do anything specifically to drop my shoulders. I just noticed it. It's like, okay, that made a difference right there. Breathing will do it. And then the other thing is, if I know you guys are available, or if it's a spot where I just don't know what to do, um, I know what DMs, I know what emojis to send you guys, to text you guys, and if um, if I feel like I can make the phone call, then I'll make a phone call. Um, but usually it's the text, because I still struggle with the past of always feeling like I'm bothering people. And even though I know that's not the case with you guys, that I can call anytime, I still have that struggle, because it was almost, it's over 5 decades of always feeling like I'm the bother. So it's really hard to just flip a switch and have it go away. It's
I do want
easy.
to tell you, you're doing great on that one because you have called me, especially the last 3 weeks. You were calling, 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 and you're not a bother because you were pushed to see. I need to make sure CJ's okay, right? So you're
Right.
actually reframing your brain, and the fear got out, the judgment and fear got out because you were on help mode. And so you were calling, you didn't give a fuck what I was thinking. Sorry for cursing, but you just like called me. And I love that. And I'm like, wow, so Santa's calling me. That's so cool. I do want to address Sharon's last comment. When you are a problem solver, it's hard not to advise. I really like that conversation. Here's the core truth that I'm thinking about in this line, right? Being helpful is not the same as being healing. Just because you can solve the problem doesn't mean it's the right time sometimes. People aren't looking for a solution, they're just looking for someone to witness, right? I have a framework for that.
How would what I don't understand is how you have all of these frameworks just off the top of your head.
I
I
got
can't remember
issues.
like that.
I get
You
issues.
can, I can't.
Okay, so the thing for this framework is called space. It's actually grounded when you want to jump in with advice, guys. And the reason I'm having all this framework is because I've been reading a lot of psychology book. When I'm bored, I'm
Think
reading
I need
instead
to
of
know what
scrolling
books you're reading.
on Instagram. And I was like, okay, well, how do we, okay, so space, SPACE. Okay, space is literally scan the situation. Ask what really is being asked here. Are they venting? Are they processing? Explicitly asking for advice? If it's unclear, try, do you want me to listen or are you looking for ideas? Literally ask that question, right? Because now you're either asking for permission or you're not, or projection, right? On that. Are you projecting your own thoughts and emotions to this person or are you asking permission to give your advice? P is pause your reflex to fix. We are a fixer. Sharon, you and I probably are a fixer, right? Take a breath before responding, guys. Your instinct to help is beautiful, but not always needed in that moment. So ask yourself, am I offering this because they need it or because I need to feel useful? Presence is often more powerful than answers, and Susanna knows this. She doesn't have all the answer, but she's amazing at listening. And A is acknowledge their power. People aren't problems to be solved. They're powerful humans in process. So maybe like, hey, that's a lot to carry. I trust you'll find your way through. You're handled hard things before. What's your gut telling you right now? Right? Shift from fixing to mirroring their strength. Give them their power back. They're not really helpless, they're just in the moment, right? Connecting without controlling. I've been working on this one. Sometimes we offer advice to steer someone where we think they should go. Instead, ask curious questions like, "Hey, what feels most urgent to you right now?" Or "What would support look like for me?" Or "What outcome are you hoping for, sister?" Right? Curiosity actually creates clarity without control by just asking question. And the last word is E. Exit the expert role. This is temporary. We know we are an expert on a lot of things, but let go of being the wise one for a minute and just sit beside them, not above them, just beside them. I mean, even Jesus asked questions more than he gave answers, if you think about it, right? Empathy over ego always. And it's not really an ego sometimes, it's just your nature. Like, I know I'm like that. Okay. Like, I'm like that. So I'm working on that. And that's the reason why I have that framework of Space Sister.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm writing down acronyms like left and right, trying to make sure that I've
I
got.
know I got a DM on my 5
I
framework.
I am seeing a new anthology, or no, I'm seeing basically probably just between the two of us creating the acronym, this like the psychological acronym book or something, or self-help acronyms, and just like start putting all these together.
Yeah, Ben, we love you. We love you. We know you're going through. Um, we help others in silence. We don't need to advertise who we help. Um, I feed the homeless all the time at my town, even though it's supposed to be illegal. So I always look for cops because I got in trouble last time trying to feed them. The cops literally told me I can't feed the homeless in my town. I'm like, okay. So I just put the the food next to the trash bin and they picked it up. I literally just bought it from the restaurant. It was ridiculous, but yeah, I help people, but we don't really advertise who we help because we know God up there is watching who we help, and that's all that matters to us. And we help not because we want something back, we help because we want our soul to be saved. Okay. We have other issues in our life that we're like, okay, we're not perfect. We got a lot of issues. We own it, but we're not focusing on the weakness that we have. We're working on our weakness, but we're focusing on the strength that we can give, right? Because positive and positive equals positive. Positive and negative is negative. We just make sure that we don't control those negatives because if we tell ourselves all the negatives in our life, we would be all depressed. Like we can't do that.
Exactly.
Do we have issues? Of course. We have a lot. Tons, like literally a long list. But why do we focus on those issues? We're just taking the to-do list of issues. You're like, I don't want this issue right now. Ah, sister's here. I'm so glad you're here, sister. Okay,
As
your
Hi.
turn. Your
well,
turn, sister.
first off, the one thing too, in terms of that giving piece, it's even in the Bible. It's like you're not supposed to brag about it. You're not supposed to be
Mhm.
telling everybody. Don't let the left hand know what the right hand's doing. It's in there. So it's in there. But now Danielle's here. So how's
Hi,
it going?
sister.
Hi. Hi, sisters. Here I am.
Here you are. Present over perfection. I love this topic. Thank you, Josh. I'm guilty about this with my twins, 12 going on 22 space now. Yeah, I am too, Sharon. Literally, I have two kids too. I don't have twins. I don't know how you do two Pampers all at once. But mine's 21 and 18 this year, and I think as they grow older, the problem just kind of grow differently. As a mom, like I have different problems now, like for but my kids, honestly, they're not angels, but I love them and they are like wonderful children.
Mm.
um my problem is not as big as most people, what parents have. Like, yes, I have problems, but it's not like super bad. Like my kids, I'm lucky that way. I'm blessed that way. But I just don't want to control anymore. Like, I think the more you control your kids too, the more they stay away from you.
Yeah.
I've learned that one too.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
I think that would be, looking back at my history, I think that would be appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't control, I just support at this point. But Sister Danielle, what does it mean to be present over perfection to you?
Um, I guess, my mind kind of goes to sports in this way. You go out and you're like, oh, I'm going to perform, I'm a tennis player. So you're like, oh, I'm going to do this, this, and this, but you just have to be in the moment, in the point, right? Like, I have to tell myself when I'm playing tennis or if I'm winning, losing, whatever, one point at a time. Don't worry about the outcome, right? Like, let's be present and enjoy this moment. What I tell my kids, they play sports too, is you never know when your last time playing will be, right? And you could apply this wherever, but you don't know when it's going to be. So just enjoy that you're able to, that you have the privilege to, that you get to enjoy this moment instead of, me, sometimes I want to play a point a certain way. And when I don't, I get too focused on, oh, I'm going to lose because I lost that one point. And then it takes over my mind instead of just thinking, like, oh, I'm just going to enjoy that I get to play right now. And I get to enjoy just the awesome opportunity it is to play again. So, I mean, I think that's what I think of, present over perfection. But it is really difficult, especially if you're neurodivergent. I think, like, it is really tough to make a mistake and then be okay with it and then trick my brain into, oh, it's okay. I just lost 1 point, not the whole match. So I guess that's where my mind kind of goes. But like in life, with family or your work, like you can't control the uncontrollables, but you can control if you're breathing, if you're just, you know, oh, you learn or you win. That's what I tell my kids too, right? Take one moment at a time and just enjoy. Take a deep breath because, I think we all talk about like tomorrow's not promised. So if we, that's what I try to tell myself. However, sometimes I can't trick my brain into like, oh, I made one mistake. Oh my gosh, the world is ending. And, you know, just think about like, oh, it's okay. I could fix it. I could say, oh, I made a mistake and I'm going to try again and I'm going to be more aware. So I don't know. There's a lot of things that I think about when I hear that because it's just, my that mindset of practice makes perfect is always in your mind, but it's progress over perfection. I don't know if that answers.
Wow, Sharon, I definitely would love to have you in my live stream and have, talk about mom and present over perfect conversation or even unmute by design, right? Because I'm really into that. It helps me. Okay, I'm being a little silly fish. um,
Yeah.
it helps me and my brain process. And I think in turn, me saying what my journeys are out loud might, I don't know if it will help other people, might help others. I could never claim because I don't know if it does. But, here's another thing I want to talk about because I know you and I in our culture, Filipino culture, right? A lot of people on TikTok and Instagram talk about like the toxic Filipino culture because they want to talk about that.
Mm, yeah.
There are definitely a lot of that, but for me, it's like, okay, well, here's what, when you talk about performing, because you're a tennis player,
Mhm.
We are a chameleon. Filipinos are, right? If you see, we shift our tone to match the room. We can read the room quite honestly very quickly because we are trained since little
Yep.
time. But sometimes I think we lose our true self in the muddle to show up of how we are because we always think how would people think of me, right? Not
Yeah.
how I should be. So I think for me
Mhm.
real presence is saying like, hey, I don't know, or I'm not okay. It's really hard for me to say that without, especially without apologizing. We tend to apologize on
Yes.
everything. Like, why do we do that? Why do we do
Uh,
that? So it's really hard,
mm,
and just being aware that you're doing it, but is the first step. But then the second step is, how do we correct it? How do we correct when we apologize when we shouldn't apologize? Because you're literally putting yourself like always on this level instead of the same level. You don't need to be above everybody.
mm,
We're just going to be sitting next to each other, and that's okay. But sometimes we always apologize like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm not okay. I don't know if I should tell
yeah.
you this, right? Like, I know I catch myself doing that. What would
Mhm.
you tell someone to say, okay, well, stop apologizing that you're not okay, then you're not okay, right? But then the next thing my brain says, when someone says, if Susanna or you says, hey sis, I'm not okay, I'm on fixing mode. Like, I need to fix, right? So then I need to be aware,
Yeah.
CJ, they don't need to fix anything. They don't need fixing. They just need you to shut the F up, listen. And then my next thing should be, did you need help, or did you
Mm,
just want me to listen? And that's okay to ask too, right? Because now you're actually asking clarity so that you're validating the person that's venting to you their emotions, that you're actually being present. So that's how to be present on conversation, is asking. So I'm going to be doing more asking that next time you guys call. Like, I'm having this, da, 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 da. And usually I have opinions on everything. Literally, I'm opinionated. But like, I don't need to be. I don't need to have my opinion or wisdom or anything. I just need to be there and said, so then I need to ask question like, sister, do you want my advice, or do you want me to just listen? And I think asking those questions sometimes also feel uncomfortable for me, because in my brain, in order for me to be useful in friendship, I have to give advice, and I have to unf that too, because not necessarily,
yeah.
right? So this whole train of thoughts, it's like, oh my god, DJ. Yeah, but anyway, that's my thoughts. What do you think, sister?
Me?
Go for it.
You know, I think the cultural thing can be very. I was when you were talking, I was thinking of the GoFundMe for Elise and kind of how I've been a little bit more quiet and not posting and just those thoughts of like, am I, because it's just such in close proximity to what happened to Leo and is still happening to Leo. He's still recovering, and our community coming together to help us. So it's just really difficult, I think, to be so vulnerable in such short amount of time, because it's very difficult for me to ask help. And I know a family member, actually, I was talking to this right before I came on. So it's weird that, and I didn't even look at like what the title of the show was, but, outward facing, it's like, oh, we put on our masks when we go outside, like everything's fine. And, I have all the things that we need. And in all honesty, it's like, I don't have the answers. There's so many unanswered, right? Like Elise didn't just have Kawasaki, she had Kawasaki shock syndrome. Like she almost died in the hospital. And I think we're just like, oh man, we don't want to put the burden on other people to feel like, oh, you need to help us right now. No, that's not it at all. It's that help doesn't have to come in the form of money, right? But I feel so vulnerable, like, oh man, I'm a professional, I run a business, and it was a lot for Leo to be off for such a long time, and he's the breadwinner, and then have to deal with this with Elise, and then still have to deal with it both every day. And no, I'm not okay. And some days are better than others. I am holding it together as much as I can to be present at work, for my kids. But I think people, and not that we need to, like in ourselves, we need to validate, like, oh my gosh, I'm not okay. And I do need help. And that, and I would say that's a positive thing too for you, CJ, though, in that moment when I was most vulnerable to say, I know you don't like this. You need this. And being assertive about doing a GoFundMe, because in those moments I was solely focused on Elise. I didn't have time to call people. I didn't even want to talk to anyone. We didn't even post it until later because I was just so overwhelmed. Um, and anyways, I think that in our culture, in Filipino culture, we don't ask for help, and asking for money, is not something that we do. So it's like we expect our family to put all the burden on our family to help us through this time, when it's like, yes, it's a lot of money that was donated, but like that stuff goes in a snap when you're in the hospital, because Elise wants what she wants. We didn't have a car, and people are bringing you stuff, and sometimes when she wanted something, you go get it because she needs to get better, right? So it's like just being honest and saying like, hey, this is what it is. This is our life right now, and it's okay that it's not okay, and it's okay that I'm asking for help, even though it's totally uncomfortable too. I mean, I think I even said to you, like, I don't know if I want to do that. And
Yeah,
even
and I
now,
said
myself,
no. I was being very assertive, okay? You, at that time, I didn't want to fix, but I needed to feel useful. And I already
yeah,
know that being useful means using my influence to do good for you and your family,
yeah.
because you are part of the community. And Susanna actually looked at me when I said, "No, I'm going to do this for you." And while we were on the phone, I was actually doing it. By the
Yeah.
time you hang up, we were done. I
Mm.
guys, I work fast, okay? My little fingers can work really fast. Like sometimes before the show, I'll create my Canva like 5 minutes before the show. I work really fast. I know technology, and so I don't claim to be an expert. Just fast.
Yeah.
And sister's like, I don't know. And so for 2 weeks, she literally like slowly get there for me, and I would like,
Oh,
sister,
yes.
do this, sister, connect your things, sister. Like I was really
Yeah.
being a little crappy sis. Like even though I'm older sister, I acted like a baby sister and keep nudging Danielle, and until she just feels like, okay, this is good, and she realized she really did need that help, right?
Oh,
She
yeah.
really did need that help. And sometimes I think also like having that balance of asking for help,
Mhm.
honoring the origin of the struggle, right? Asking
Yeah.
yourself who actually really need right now. And sometimes you might not know, but if you have friends like us, we know what you need, right? Embrace your humanity, not just your struggle, guys. You're
Yeah.
not a machine. You're not a role. You're a human being. You're a
Yeah.
mom first before a business owner. Before a sister. And learn to ask small first. And I know this was not a
Mm.
small thing, but you feel safe with Susanna and I, so you're like fine. Even the wordings, you're like just write whatever you want. Like literally, you just said that,
Yeah.
and Susanna's like, CJ will be fine. And practice receiving without over explaining or apologizing. That
Ugh.
is something I am working on. I over
Oof.
analyze things, and then I apologize for everything, and then I over explain for everything, right?
Yeah.
Um, what do you
Me
think, Sister
too.
Susanna?
I- it's just been it's been fun watching the two of you, seeing what the three of us do, learning who can drive boats and who can't. Uh, but it's and having those times that we, especially when we get together, um, whether it's a Zoom call or whether like we were able to get together live in person last year, uh, it just opens up. Um, it's actually opened each of us up in different ways because we're not we really don't have to do this journey alone. And in many ways, I think each of us has been doing this journey alone. And we
Oh, we
just,
still do it.
well, but still, it's it's not as alone as it was.
Okay, yeah.
And that's us being brought together, quite frankly. You never know how you're going to get connected, but this connection, um, that's what I've seen with each of us, is that ability to step back and be vulnerable and open up. And it's I've had the phone calls from both of you, as much as quite frankly, the phone calls go every which way between the three of us, because
Yeah.
whoever's in that moment, something's going on, and whether they make the phone call or we're calling to check in, we get the phone call and then go through whatever. And
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've ended up with talking with one or both of you, and then you guys are like, how much better you feel by the time that conversation's done. And I'm kind of sitting there going, what did I do? Because I don't
Oh,
I
it's good.
don't always remember that I said anything specifically, but sometimes it's that connection. It's that presence between us that sometimes that's all we need.
Oh, yeah. That was deep. This is true. I mean, both of you were there for both, Leo and Elise. And last time, I just said it to everybody, but this time, not wanting to share as much, but it's just lonely if when I don't, because then I feel like I'm showing up in rooms and you can't expect people to anticipate it or be mindful of it if you're not sharing, right? Because Elise looks fine. And I think we look fine because we're pretty positive, happy people. And you could still be that, by the way, even if you're going through hard times or difficult times or medical things. And so I think sometimes that's like lost and blurred. So it's important to just be mindful of everything happening and, be CJ and Susanna here, all the things. So I know this may be a reminder to me to update as much and keep on sharing because right now where we're at is like I would love a referral over to Stanford for cardiology because she still has low blood pressure and the insurance denied it. So it's like help doesn't have to be monetary, right? Like it can be like, oh, hey, I might know someone who might be able to help you write that, or I've gone through this before if you need my help,
Right.
but that's what we have to be present in the moment. And I can't think about all the things in its totality because it's just overwhelming if I do it that way, you know?
Yeah. It's a lot of overwhelm. And then of course I look at time, it's like, dang, this is what our time always is when we're together. Time
Yeah.
We just keep continuing the conversation. Yeah.
just
And I'm so proud of you. I just want you to know I'm so proud of you. From the day I met you, being on somebody else's podcast, you weren't blossoming and we weren't as close, but we were getting close enough. And I told you, like, you don't need to be in spaces where you're not honored. You don't need to be in spaces where you can't speak your truth, right? And that's really a good example of like that advice was unwarranted, but like it was needed. And sometimes it's okay to give advice to people, even if they didn't ask for it, if you know that it really could help them. um because having that balance, also sometimes we don't see what we don't see and we don't know what we don't know. And if other people, like if you're a true, like for example, if I'm smiling and I have like spinach in my teeth and Susanna just let me smile the whole time we were in meeting, I would be mad at her at the end of the day, because she should have told me, right? But you're like, I don't want to tell you. Why not? If you were my friend. Or one time I was in a meeting where um my girlfriend was wearing a skirt and her skirt hang on her underwear, so her butt was showing while she walked out of the bathroom, and I covered her and ran and covered her, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, you need to pull your skirt down, like, down." And she's like, "Oh my god, thank you for telling me." And she said she was standing in the bathroom for 5 minutes and no one told her. No one told her. There was a lot of people there, right? So it's like, certain things sometimes you do have to do, but try not to at always and clarify. But I think when you've been friends as long as we have, it's not like we've been friends for 10 years. We connect in so many levels. And I'm glad that I introduced Susanna to Danielle,
Mm.
because now we're all trio, trifecta. All right, one all be all. Like you get one of us, you get three of us, literally. So yeah,
Exactly.
yes.
All the
Thank you,
time.
sister, for being here. Thank you for your 100th episode, and thank you for everybody who's here and listening, and also Team Replay. We love you. We appreciate you, and hope that you have an inspirational week and a productive week for you, and not just for your business. Right?
Well, and you were there at the very first one, and at number 50. And I remember too, because when you talk about that, I was in the midst of another show where I really never belonged, and I think it was in like June, May or June. You're saying you're gonna have your own show by August.
And you did.
It was like the last couple of days of August when I started this of that year. So I was like, yeah, she's right. She knows what she's talking about.
Because I steer you, and I'm like, sister, you're gonna be teaching soon. You're like, no. I'm like, yeah. So
Where
notice
are we
what I
now?
say happens. Huh? So
Good, let's get those speaking stages going now.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's manifest that.
Get those paid speaking stages, and then we'll just start traveling from speaker to speaker. We'll just get them. We'll get both of us going to the same place, and think of the powerhouse people would get with the two of us walking in there.
double trouble.
Oh, Danielle shows up, triple trouble.
Cheering.
So yeah, it's I've been blessed with all of this, and I'm so glad that you guys are here, and everybody that showed up, and we start the next 100 next week. Not sure who it's going to be yet, but hey, that's one of the fun things. I haven't exactly scheduled everything out because that's who I am. I'm not quite the scheduler, unlike some people I know that are scheduled out way out
Always.
there. It's like, I don't think I can schedule out to October, November, December. It's like I don't know
January,
what
probably
I'm
at this point.
doing at that time frame. But I am glad that you guys were here, and I just feel blessed every time I get to think of you, get to talk with you, get to interact with you. Uh, it's made my life. I say it all the time. I don't know where or if I would be right now without you. It's that
Same.
simple.
Likewise. Likewise. In so many ways.
When I hit the hardest points, and it's like CJ's writing all these songs and poems, and I did it that one morning, and one of the lines in there is basically I see a face, and that's what gets me turned around. That's what keeps me going at those low points, and we all need that. That's something that we can fall back on, and even if it's somebody that's not there at the moment, it's enough to help us start lifting ourselves out of a dark space that we don't belong in anyway.
All the time.
So
Every day.
and for everybody that's here, It was great to see everybody here, and I look forward to seeing everyone next week. And away we go to start that next 100 and see where that goes. Do either of you have any last words you want to add?
Love you guys. Have a great week.
Tomorrow I'll have Tyler Donegan. Yeah, he is actually pretty awesome. And then, of course, I believe I have on the 24th, somebody you guys already know on LinkedIn. And so Leah, so she will be here on Thursday. And then, of course, sister and I are doing on Sunday. And I didn't release anything on Friday, but I will be releasing something for the podcast this Friday. So that is what's happening.
Awesome. All right. So I'm gonna let the song that CJ gave me close us out. Bye.
Yo, it's not just a scroll. It's the movement. Get it. Hey, let's get it. Tap it, level up, this the real lane. Dr. Leyland dropping fire, not playing games. 50 deep with a mission and a voice. Ain't just talk, we the power, we the choice. We spotlight rebels, dreamers, queens, bosses, builders, legacy machines. You want truth, you want real. This the type of vibe that you feel and heal.
From the mic to the gram, LinkedIn too. 50 connections, yeah, that's the crew. Wanna grow, wanna shine, wanna be seen. This the dopest network on the scene. So don't just lurk, engage, ignite. Click that follow, change your life. This ain't hype, this a tribe on a mission. Level up, style, legacy, edition. So don't just lurk, engage, ignite. Click that follow, change your life. This ain't hype, this a tribe on a mission. Level up, style, legacy, edition.
Let's the real man, yeah. Let's get it. Tight, yeah. Let's the real man, yeah. Type in, level up, just the real lane. Dr. Leyland dropping fire, not playing games. 50 deep with the mission and a voice. Ain't just talk, we the power, we the choice. We spotlight rebels, dreamers, queens, bosses, builders, legacy machines. You want truth, you want real. This the type of vibe that you feel and heal.
From the mic to the gram, LinkedIn too. 50 connections, yeah, that's the crew. Wanna grow, wanna shine, wanna be seen. This the dopest network on the scene. So don't just lurk, engage, ignite. Click that follow, change your life. This ain't hype, this a tribe on a mission. Level up, style, legacy, edition. So don't just lurk, engage, ignite. Click that follow, change your life. This ain't hype, this a tribe on a mission. Level up, style, legacy, edition.
It's the movement. Let's get it. Yeah. We all drop night shit. Taking over.